7.1 Nobel Prize in Physics 2023. Prize awarded for experimental methods that generate attosecond pulses of light for the study of electron dynamics in matter. Awardees: Pierre Agostini, Ferenc Krauss, and N. L. Huillet. About electron dynamics. Electron dynamics, in simple terms, refers to the behavior and movement of electrons within atoms and molecules. An atom is composed of a nucleus of protons and neutrons, and electrons, which are negatively charged, travel around this nucleus. Atoms' natural time scale is incredibly short. Atoms can move and turn in millionths of a billionth of a second, known as femtoseconds. Femtosecond is equal to 10 to 15 second. Electrons move or change rapidly in the magnitude of attosecond, which makes them difficult to study. For a long time, femtosecond was seen as the shortest achievable duration of the light pulses, thus making the study of electrons very difficult. How did the discovery overcome this challenge? Generation of attosecond pulses of light, N. L. Huillet. In 1987, N. L. Huillet and her colleagues transmitted an infrared laser beam through a noble gas, and it produced multiple overtones. When the peak of one overtone merges with the peak of another, they undergo constructive interference and produce a larger peak. Similarly, when the peak of one overtone merges with the trough of another, however, they undergo destructive interference, cancelling themselves out. By combining a large number of overtones in this way, physicists fine-tune a setup to produce light pulses for a few hundred attoseconds. Production of pulse train, Pierre Agostini and Ferenc Krauss. In 2001, Pierre Agostini and Ferenc Krauss were able to produce verified attosecond pulses in a train, a pulse followed by a gap, followed by a pulse, and so forth. By 2017, experts were able to produce a pulse as short as 43 attoseconds. Resultantly, these experiments produced pulses of light that were measured in attoseconds. These pulses can be used to provide images of the processes inside atoms and molecules, including electron dynamics. Applications of attosecond physics. Medical diagnostics, to check for the presence of certain molecules. For instance, study of molecular level changes in blood, to identify diseases. Development of ultrafast electronics, to develop faster electronic devices, and better telecommunications, imaging, and spectroscopy. Precision control of electrons, to explore short-lived atomic and molecular processes in fields like material science, electronics, and catalysis. 7.2 Nobel Prize in Chemistry 2023. Prize awarded for the discovery and development of quantum dots. Awardees: the prize was given to Mungi G. Bawendi, Louis E. Bross, and Alexei Yekimov. About quantum dots, QDs. Quantum dots are man-made semiconductor particles, whose sizes are normally not more than 10 nanometers. They are composed of different types of atoms, such as cadmium, selenium, etc. Similar behavior is observed in some metals, therefore, in some cases, it may be acceptable to speak about metal quantum dots. QDs are also denoted as artificial atoms or zero-dimensional electron systems. Properties of QDs: they exhibit quantum confinement, which leads to many unique optical and transport properties. 92. Fluorescence. When excited by an external electric or light source, QDs emit photons of a specific wavelength. Tunable emission. QDs can emit light of different colors depending on their size. This property is called size tunable emission and is widely used in display technologies and bioimaging. Photostability. QDs are less prone to photobleaching, loss of fluorescence over time, compared to traditional organic dyes. This makes them suitable for long-term imaging applications. Material variety. QDs can be made from different semiconductor materials, such as cadmium selenide, CDSE, lead sulfide, PBS, and indium arsenide, INAS, each with its own unique properties. Biocompatibility. Some quantum dots are biocompatible, which means they can be used in biological applications without causing harm to living cells. This property is advantageous in bioimaging and drug delivery. About Nobel-winning research. In the early 1980s, Alexei Yekimov succeeded in creating size-dependent quantum effects in colored glass. He demonstrated that the particle size affected the color of the glass via quantum effects. A few years later, Louis Bross was the first scientist in the world to prove size-dependent quantum effects in particles floating freely in a fluid. In 1993, Mungi Bawendi developed a technique to make quantum dots of well-defined sizes and with high optical quality. Applications of quantum dots. The technology can be applied in a multitude of domains, including the following: electronics, television screens based on QLED technology, and LED lamps. Advanced surgery, in cancer treatment for targeted drug delivery, nanomedicine, biochemists, and doctors use them to map biological tissue, etc. 93 WW. Anti-counterfeit measure, used as security markers on currency and documents. Other potential uses, in quantum computing, thinner solar cells, flexible electronics, tiny sensors, and encrypted quantum communication, etc. 7.3 Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine 2023. Prize awarded for discoveries concerning nucleoside-based modifications that enable the development of effective mRNA vaccines against COVID-19. Awardees: the prize was given to Kodaline Kariko and Drew Weissman. About vaccination and COVID-19. A vaccination works by stimulating the formation of an immune response to a particular pathogen. Vaccines based on killed or weakened viruses have long been available, such as vaccines against polio, measles, and yellow fever. As technology evolved, instead of the whole virus, just a part of the viral genetic code began to be introduced through vaccines, DNA-based vaccines. However, the large-scale development of DNA vaccines requires cell culture, growing of cells under controlled conditions, and takes time. When you get a DNA vaccine, your cells translate the gene particle from the virus or bacteria into a protein that your body recognizes as a foreign element. Your immune system then creates antibodies that fight these particular proteins. During the COVID-19 outbreak, time was of the essence in finding a weapon against the deadly and fast-spreading virus. This is where mRNA technology proved crucial, as it requires significantly less time. About mRNA, messenger ribonucleic acid, DNA stores all the genetic information in our bodies. mRNA carries that genetic information, similar to a blueprint or set of instructions, that is then translated into proteins. RNA contains 4 nucleoside bases, abbreviated A, U, G, and C, corresponding to A, T, G, and C in DNA, the letters of the genetic code. Working of an mRNA vaccine. mRNA vaccines use mRNA created in a laboratory to teach our cells how to make a protein or even just a piece of a protein that triggers an immune response inside our bodies. In vitro transcribed mRNA, or synthetic mRNA, is the synthetic form of mRNA that is used in mRNA-based vaccines. It is created outside of a living cell. This immune response, which produces antibodies, is what helps protect us from getting sick immediately. Also, the body remembers the associated pathogens, thus creating immunity for the future. 94 www.vision. The mRNA vaccines provided a promise of faster vaccine development, but posed significant challenges. These challenges were addressed in the work of Nobel laureates. Work of Nobel laureates. Understanding the concerns with mRNA vaccines. Issues with in vitro transcribed mRNA vaccines. Instability. They were considered unstable and challenging to deliver, requiring the development of sophisticated delivery systems. Inflammatory reactions. The cells recognize in vitro transcribed mRNA as a foreign substance, which leads to their activation and the release of inflammatory signaling molecules. Inefficient protein production in cells and tissues. They questioned why the synthetic mRNA was considered to be a foreign substance, while mRNA from mammalian cells did not give rise to the same reaction. Reason for a different reaction. The mRNA from cells, mammalian mRNA, undergoes a chemical change after entering the body, whereas the synthetic mRNA remains unchanged. This led them to realize some critical properties must distinguish synthetic mRNA from mammalian cells mRNA. Breakthrough by them. Understanding. Kariko and Weissman knew that nucleoside bases in RNA from mammalian cells are frequently chemically modified. Hypothesis. They hypothesized that the absence of altered bases in the in vitro transcribed RNA could explain the unwanted inflammatory reaction. Testing. On testing, they produced different variants of mRNA, each with unique chemical alterations in their bases, which they delivered to the cells. Result. The results were significant, as the inflammatory response was almost abolished when base modifications were included in the mRNA. Applications of the discovery. COVID-19 vaccination. With the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, base-modified mRNA vaccines encoding the SARS-CoV-2 surface protein were developed at an unprecedented pace. e.g., mRNA vaccines developed by Pfizer, BioNTech, and Moderna. Rapid vaccine development. Impressive flexibility and speed with which mRNA vaccines can be developed paved the way for using the new platform for vaccines against other infectious diseases. Broad applicability. In the future, the technology may also be used to deliver therapeutic proteins and treat some cancer types. Global health impact. mRNA vaccines can play a role in improving global health by addressing a range of infectious diseases and potentially reducing the severity and spread of epidemics and pandemics. Why in the news? Around 128 startups have written to Telecom Regulatory Authority of India, TIAI, opposing telecom service providers, TSPs, push for regulating over-the-top, OTT, services. More about the news. The TSPs are of the view that OTT application services like Netflix, Amazon Prime Video not only consume a significant bandwidth in their network, the other OTT communication services like WhatsApp, Facebook also cause a significant revenue loss to them. Hence the Indian TSPs are demanding a network usage fee from big tech platforms and OTTs for using their infrastructure. What is net neutrality? Net neutrality is the concept of an open, equal internet for everyone, regardless of device, application, or platform used and content consumed. Proponents of the idea believe all corporations, including internet service providers, ISPs, should treat internet data and users equally. They should not restrict access, slow down access speeds, or block content for some users to serve their own interests. The issue began with Facebook's launch of Free Basics in 2013, which was designed to provide a set of websites and content freely available only to the users and subscribers of the Reliance network in India. The TIAI released a new framework called the Prohibition of Discriminatory Tariffs for Data Services Regulations, 2016, which barred telecom service providers from charging differential rates and ensured net neutrality. Implications of disregarding net neutrality. Induces internet discrimination. The internet service providers, ISP, can favor and boost a specific content, application, product to the consumers. Creating discrimination discourages innovation. The level playing field for startups and small companies is removed, discouraging them to innovate on new ideas, strengthening the hands of big tech companies. Privacy concerns. ISPs could exploit their power to collect and monetize user data without their consent. Limits consumer freedom. By letting ISPs dictate what is accessible or affordable to the consumers, their freedom to choose is hindered. Over the top. 96 www.visioneers.in Way forward. Incorporation of AK Bar Gov Committee recommendations. O. Incorporation of a clause in the license conditions of TSP, ISPs, that will require the licensee to adhere to the principles and conditions of net neutrality. O. Till such time as an appropriate legal framework is enacted with the principles of net neutrality, the interim provisions enforceable through licensing conditions, as suggested by the committee, may be the way forward. Create a level playing field through regulatory framework, which is fair and equal for both the players without affecting the end consumers. Define arts and their services in order to bring them under an ambit of regulation in terms of their content, service, etc. Protect the welfare of the customers and ensure that there is no rise in cost either directly or indirectly, which is transferred to the customers. Proactive monitoring. TRAI should proactively monitor TSP's behavior to detect and address any violations towards net neutrality promptly. 7.5. Unlocking India's space tech potential. Why in the news? A report titled Exploring Opportunities for Indian Downstream Space Tech was jointly launched by Indian Space Association, IPSA, NASCOM, Deloitte India, at Indian Space Conclave 2023. The paradigm shift in India's space journey. The start. Indian space journey started with the formation of INCOSPA, Indian National Committee for Space Research, in 1962, ISRO, Indian Space Research Organisation, in 1969, and the Department of Space, DOS, in 1972. Government was the only player. Since then and up till the 2010s, the space sector was effectively a domain of the government with negligible private sector participation. Entry of private sector. Space is no longer the exclusive domain of government, and it is set to be driven by synergistic efforts between public and private sectors due to its strategic and economic significance. 97 www. Segmental diversification. Until now, most of the contribution of space technology has been from the upstream segment of the value chain through satellite manufacturing, launching, etc. India's new Space Policy 2023 has opened opportunities for space technology to serve even the downstream segment. Potential areas for the Indian downstream space sector. Remote sensing, Earth observation. EO includes services for storage of satellite data, data analysis, and development of applications. In sectors like agriculture, crop identification, soil mapping, weather monitoring, irrigation management, etc. Urban planning and development, master plan development, urban heat island prediction and monitoring, etc. Disaster management, prediction and post-disaster management. Blue economy, fisheries, oceanography, fish detection and forecasts, potential fishing zones, etc. Satellite communications. SATCOM focuses on products and services that use communication satellites for services like broadcasting, communication, and internet connectivity. Connectivity for bank branches in remote areas. Health, education and governance delivery. Other sectors, tourism, payments, trade, digital commerce, etc. Positioning, navigation and timing services. PNT includes services used for tracking of assets, navigation services on air, land and sea, etc. Guidance, drones, navigation for enterprises, toll collection, railways. Civil aviation, commercial aviation, airport operations, etc. Time synchronization, telecom, energy, finance, etc. Space for strategic purposes. Categorized as the fourth operational domain, space has always been a dual-purpose sector to serve national security and strategic interests. Secure communication, integrated command and control center. Intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance, strategic surveillance, asset, marine domain awareness, etc. Challenges for the emerging Indian private space ecosystem. International competition. Global space industry is highly competitive, and Indian companies need to find their niche and differentiate themselves to compete effectively. Access to capital. Major funding is for the industries related to the upstream activities, while the downstream companies pool in low amounts. Supply chain disruption. Global instability and geopolitical conflicts disrupt supply chains, leading to limited access to key equipment for private sector. Other concerns. Indian space tech market lacks comprehensive data aggregation and analytics capabilities. Space sector faces challenges in justifying return on investment, ROI, due to the high cost of space resources. 98 www. Way ahead. Active role of government. With the space sector opening up, governments have a crucial role to play as enablers and consumers of Earth observation-based services. Their involvement can nurture the growing ecosystem. Streamlined regulatory framework. Simplify and expedite regulatory processes, ensuring transparency and predictability in approvals. Public-private partnerships. Encourage collaborations to expand satellite communication services to make space-based services more affordable. Global collaboration. Enhance and strengthen cooperation of international partners with the Indian space industry through initiatives like satellite services, NISA, India-US, etc. 7.6. Asteroids. Why in the news? NASA's OSIRIS-IX mission brought the sample from carbon-rich asteroid Bennu back to Earth. About OSIRIS-REx's mission. OSIRIS-IX is an acronym for Origins, Spectral Interpretation, Resource Identification, and Security Regolith Explorer. Goal of the mission, collect samples from asteroid Bennu and deliver them to Earth. Timeline of mission. 2016, spacecraft was launched. 2020, collected rocks and dust from the surface of asteroid Bennu. 2021, after further study of the asteroid, the spacecraft began its cruise back to Earth with the sample. 2023, became the first US mission to deliver a sample of an asteroid to Earth. New journey. After its sample delivery, OSIRIS-IX continued onto a new mission to asteroid Apophis. Hence renamed as OSIRIS-APEX, OSIRIS-Apophis Explorer. About asteroids. Asteroids, sometimes called minor planets, are rocky objects that orbit the Sun, much smaller than planets. Asteroids are divided into three classes based on their location. Main asteroid belt, found in the main asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, which is estimated to contain somewhere between 1.1 to 1.9 million asteroids. Total mass of all the asteroids in the main asteroid belt combined is less than that of Earth's moon. Trojans. These asteroids share an orbit with a larger planet, but do not collide with it. NASA reports the presence of Jupiter, Neptune, and Mars Trojans. In 2011, they reported an Earth Trojan as well. 99 www.vision. Near-Earth asteroids. These have orbits that pass close to the Earth. Asteroids that cross the Earth's orbit are called Earth crossers. How does asteroid exploration contribute to astronomy? Insight on formation of solar system. Asteroids like Bennu are considered remnants of the formation of our solar system. Analyzing these samples can help us understand the conditions and materials present at that time. Origin of life. Samples can provide insights into the chemical and organic compounds that may have played a role in the origin of life on Earth. For example, initial studies of the Bennu sample show evidence of high carbon content and water, which together could indicate the building blocks of life on Earth. Planetary defense. Understanding the composition and structure of asteroids like Bennu is crucial for creating planetary defense efforts for the future. This information can help in developing strategies to mitigate the potential threat posed by near-Earth objects. Space exploration technology. The mission demonstrates advanced technology in spacecraft design, navigation, and sample collection, which can be applied to future space missions. JAXA, Japan, will launch its MMX, Martian Moons Exploration, mission in 2024 to study the Martian moons, and will collect surface samples from Farbas. NASA and the European Space Agency are designing a multi-mission campaign to retrieve samples that NASA's Mars 2020 Perseverance rover is collecting. Resource utilization. By analyzing the composition of Bennu's materials, we can assess the potential for resource utilization, such as mining asteroids for valuable minerals or water. International collaboration. It highlights the significance of global collaboration in space exploration and the scientific community's ability to work together on ambitious projects. This includes global missions for gathering samples from space in general and exploration of asteroids in particular. Missions which have gathered samples from the space missions for exploration of asteroids. NASA's Apollo 11, 1969 collected and returned the first space samples from the moon. NASA's Genesis spacecraft, 2004 collects samples of the solar wind. NASA's Stardust mission, 2006 became the first to collect comet samples and deliver them to Earth. JAXA's Hayabusa 2 mission, 2020 delivered the sample from asteroid Ryugu. NASA's Galileo mission was the first spacecraft to fly past an asteroid Gaspara in 1991. In 2005, Japanese spacecraft Hayabusa landed on the near-Earth asteroid Itokawa and attempted to collect samples. NASA's Dawn spacecraft was launched in 2007 to explore asteroid Vesta. Conclusion. The recent success of the sample return mission is significant, making it a pivotal event in space exploration. This holds the promise of expanding our knowledge of the universe and positively impacting our future endeavors in space. 7.7 News in Shorts. 7.7.1 Traditional medicine on World Health Organization's list. Ministry of Ayush has sought for Ayurveda and related systems to be included in 11th revision of International Classification of Diseases, ICD-11, as Module 2 of a supplementary chapter on traditional medicine conditions. Development of Module 2 relies on implementation knowledge obtained from National Ayush Morbidity and standardized Terminologies Electronic, NAMSTA, Portal and Ayush Health Information Management System, RAHIMS. ICD is the international standard for systematic recording, reporting, analysis, interpretation, and comparison of mortality and morbidity data. Previously, ICD-11 included Module 1 that covers traditional medicine conditions originating in ancient China, which is now commonly used in Japan, Korea, etc. 100W. ICD-11 came into effect from January 2022. Significance of ICD-11. Provides a list of diagnostics categories to collect and report on traditional medicine conditions in an internationally comparable manner. Link traditional medicine practices with global conventional medicine's norms and standard development. Enable integration of traditional medicine into insurance coverage and reimbursement systems, in line with WHO objectives relating to universal health coverage. Traditional medicine refers to some of knowledge, skills and practices indigenous and different cultures have used over time to maintain health and diagnose and treat physical and mental illness. National Ayush Morbidity and Standardized Terminologies Electronic, NAMSTA, portal. It provides standardized terminologies and morbidity codes for Ayurveda, Siddha and Unani systems of medicine. Ayush Health Information Management System, AHIMS. It is a comprehensive IT platform to effectively manage all functions of healthcare delivery systems and patient care in Ayush facilities. 7.7.2 Ayushman Bhav Campaign. Initiative of Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Objective: to extend comprehensive healthcare coverage to every village and town. It has 3 components. Ayushman Apka Dwar 3.0, to provide Ayushman cards to remaining eligible beneficiaries enrolled under the PMJ scheme. Ayushman Melis, to facilitate the creation of health IDs and issuance of Ayushman Bharat cards. Ayushman Sabas, to raise awareness about vital health schemes and disease conditions. NGOs, SHGs, PRIS, youth groups, primary cooperative societies, Indian Medical Association, and companies using CSR funds will be part of the campaign. 7.7.3 Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission, IPC, becomes a member of Pharmacopoeia Discussion Group, PDG. IPC is an autonomous institution of the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare formed in 2009. It publishes the Indian Pharmacopoeia, IP, and regularly updates the standards of drugs imported, manufactured, stocked, or exhibited for sale or distributed in India. Pharmacopoeia refers to book or monograph published by a government or recognized organization to provide standards of strength and purity for therapeutic drugs. In IP, standards for drugs are in terms of Second Schedule to the Drugs and Cosmetics Act, 1940, and Rules 1945 thereunder. About PDG, it was formed by the US, EU and Japan in 1989, and World Health Organization joined an observer in 2001. It works to harmonize pharmacopoeial standards in the member countries or regions. Harmonization reduces manufacturers' burden of having to perform analytical procedures in different ways, using different acceptance criteria, to satisfy pharmacopoeial requirements that vary across regions. Benefits to IPC of joining PDG: international recognition of the standards set by the IPC. Enhanced acceptance of Indian pharmaceutical products in global markets. Better public health worldwide, as it helps to prevent the circulation of substandard or counterfeit drugs. 7.7.4 Monoclonal antibody. The Union government has decided to procure doses of monoclonal antibody from Australia. Monoclonal antibody, an experimental therapeutic, was also imported for treatment of infected patients during 2018 Nipah outbreak in Kerala. Nipah virus, NEV, is a zoonotic virus and can be transmitted through contaminated food or directly between people. Monoclonal antibodies, MABs, are artificial antibodies that mimic the activity of our immune systems. They are produced through a process that involves extracting specific antibodies from human blood and then cloning them. They are clones of just one antibody, and they bind to one antigen only. They are made by homogeneous hybrid cells, B cells, derived from the same parent cell. Polyclonal antibodies, PABs, on the other hand, are a mixture of antibodies that are secreted by different B-cell lineages. They have been used in the treatment of cancers, Ebola, HIV, etc. 101. MABs can effectively bind with a part of the viral envelope that attaches to the human cells to gain entry into the body. This effectively neutralizes the virus. Concerns with MABs, side effects such as cytokine release syndrome reactions, allergic atopic disorders, impaired immune function, etc. 7.7.5 R21 Matrix M malaria vaccine. World Health Organization has recommended second malaria vaccine, R21 Matrix M, for the prevention of malaria in children. This follows WHO recommendation for the RTS-AS01 vaccine in 2021. R21 Matrix M vaccine has been licensed for use in Ghana, Nigeria, and Burkina Faso. It was developed by Jenner Institute at Oxford University and Serum Institute of India. Key features: cost-effective, high efficacy, safe in clinical trials. Malaria is caused by Plasmodium parasites, which are spread to people through bites of infected female Anopheles mosquitoes. 7.7.6 Packaging of food products. Under Food Safety and Standards, Packaging, Regulations, 2018 use of newspapers or similar materials for storing and wrapping food is strictly prohibited. Newspapers are often subjected to various environmental conditions during distribution, making them susceptible to contamination by bacteria, viruses, or other pathogens. The ink used in newspaper printing may cause cancer, liver failure, lung damages, etc. due to components such as lead, naphthylamines, aromatic hydrocarbon, and agonists for aryl hydrocarbon receptor. Is a protein that mediates toxicity. 7.7.7 Protein binders. FSSAI has clarified addition of protein binders or any other additives in dairy products is not permitted. Protein binders are biological research reagents which bind to a specific target protein to manufacture a wide range of new food products. Protein binding can enhance or detract performance. Protein binding is known to affect the digestibility of the protein bond and thus can affect the biological and nutritive value of milk protein. Milk protein it is a good source for essential amino acids. Milk proteins are easily digestible and do not contain any anti-nutritional factors unlike many plant-based proteins. 7.7.8 National Mission on Interdisciplinary Cyber-Physical System, NMICPS. National Workshop of Technology Innovation in CPS highlighted the importance of technology innovation hubs set up under NMICPS. CPS are a collection of computing devices communicating with one another and interacting with the physical world via sensors and actuators in a feedback loop. It includes technologies like artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, machine learning, robotics, etc. Application areas, healthcare, precision agriculture, energy infrastructure, etc. NMICPS was launched in 2018 by Department of Science and Technology. Vision, make India a leading player in CPS technologies. Objective, promote translational research in CPS and associated technologies. 7.7.9 Gravity battery. A gravity battery is a type of electricity storage device that involves lifting, charging, and lowering, discharging a heavy weight. When there is plenty of green energy, the batteries use the power to lift a heavy weight, or blocks, either high into the air or to the top of a deep shaft. When electricity demand picks up, the blocks are lowered one by one, releasing kinetic energy that is used to rotate a motor and generate electricity. The 7th of July, 10, Neanderthals. Researchers have found that humans carry DNA remnants of ancient Neanderthals. Neanderthals were humans. They were a distinct species called Homo neanderthalensis. 102 www.visioneers.nwa.visioneers.in Copyright symbol Vision IAS. They lived in Europe and Southwest and Central Asia during Middle to Late Pleistocene epoch, about 400,000 to 40,000 years ago. Physical appearance, long, low skull, compared to more globular skull of modern humans, with a characteristic prominent brow ridge above their eyes, relatively short and stocky bodies. Suited to cold environments. They were skilled toolmakers and used a technology called Mysterian culture, which involved the creation of various stone tools like scrapers, points, and hand axes. The 7th of July, 11, green ammonia. Green ammonia from Egypt imported through VOC port, Tamil Nadu for the first time. Green ammonia is made using 100% renewable and carbon-free source. Blue ammonia refers to the ammonia for which byproduct CO2 has been captured and stored, reducing climate impact. Grey brown ammonia refers to the ammonia produced using fossil fuels. Ammonia, NH3, is a pungent gas widely used to make fertilizers. Produced through Haber-Bosch process in which hydrogen and nitrogen are reacted together at high temperatures and pressures. Ministry of Power has notified green ammonia policy in 2022. 103 www.visioneers.nwa